Is Honda still good in 2024? In this video, we are going to be discussing about Honda, if he's still good, talents, pairs, why, how, and where you should still use him. This is Lizard Jesus YouTube coming at you with another banger. So, I expertised Honda, as you guys know, this year before my last KVK, and I used him all of KVK. And quite frankly, I was pretty satisfied with his performance, and I do not regret his expertise at all. At all. I didn't. Let's just see how much I invested. So I invested. I've got just under 1,000,000 kills with him. Although I only used him at expertise for 1 KVK. So I put 463 gold heads into him. The rest of the heads are from daily specials and spinning like wheels. I paired him with Skippy. I paired him with Skippy a lot. And I paired him with Nevsky. I also ran a Honda primary with a YSS secondary. I also ran Ethel primary with Honda secondary, mainly in Canyon. We're going to be talking about all these pairs. I ran Guan Honda. I ran ZL Honda. I even ran Honda Tamiris, which is this pair I'm going to talk about at the end. Because this pair, yeah, I'll talk about it at the end. So right off the bat, as a secondary, Honda's best pairs by far is definitely going to be Scipio. Scipio and Zeal's okay. But let's going to start off with Skippy. So Honda is dealing a 3-target huge AoE. Like, you are not going to have a problem hitting targets with Honda. His damage factor as a secondary, even by today's standards, I actually think is fine, honestly. Like, I still think it's fine. As a secondary, it's fine for 2 reasons. First of all, the size of his AoE is actually good. The size of a commander's AoE does matter. His AoE is the same size as Ethelflaed. It's a huge, big fan. You're hitting lots of targets. On his last skill, depending on whether you have mixed units or not, he is gaining skill damage for the amount of troops you're losing. This makes Honda really good in Canyon. He's really good in Canyon. But I actually like this skill for the open field. This means that you're only going to be dealing more skill damage as the fight goes on, and it is good. It is still a good skill. I paired him with Skippy, and it's very good. It's a very good pair. There's lots of skill damage this pair. Lots of skill damage. Skippy's bringing some health, 20%, and shielding for your allies, as well as a bit of skill damage taken reduction. Honda really only is tanky once you have his expertise. I ran him at 5.5.5.1 for a little while. It is, if you have Honda at 5.5.5.1, it is okay. It is worth using if you don't have a lot of options. But Honda at a 5.5.5.1, I would prefer to run a 5.5.1.1 Mehmed with his double relic. There's an argument between Honda and Mehmed who's the better secondary. And I think straight up, Honda is better once he has his expertise. I had Honda for a long time. If your Mehmed is 5.5.1.1, or even, honestly, even 5.3.1.1, if it's double relic Mehmed at 5.3.1.1 or 5.5.1.1, and your Honda is not expertise, you should probably use your Mehmed. Honda's expertise is what really is good. This is good. He's bringing a really good amount of March speed. 20% March speed is good. Extra, like 40% attack, 20% March speed is really nice. Skippy also brings March speed as well. This pair is by far the best. But because Honda is bringing 20% March speed, you could throw him behind Nevsky, and it's really good. I ran Nevsky Honda. It's still strong today. I get that it's a really old pair, but a Nevsky Honda to this day is great, especially with how many options there are for calves. You can then run something like, I don't know, maybe HQ Joan. And then you can run something like XY Double Relic Mehmet and then Nevsky Honda. And now you have 3 really strong cav pairs. Guan Honda. Guan Honda is kind of squishy. I have a feeling that Guan Honda is going to pick up traction. Like you might see more Guan Hondas in the future once Guan's relic comes out. But in this current time, Guan Honda just is not really tanky enough. It's really fast. It's a really fast march. Um, and it is a really strong double AoE. It's not bad, but I think ZL Honda, Skippy Honda, Nevsky Honda are better. Herman Honda. Now I didn't actually run Herman Honda in a KVK, but I have a really strong feeling about Herman Honda. Herman Honda, man. Herman Honda has a potential to reach 80% skill damage bonus, which might be insane. I'm going to be trying this next KVK. So, his third skill is also good. He's got a March speed reduction debuff, which is super underrated. March speed reduction has to be one of the strongest debuffs in the open field. Slowing down enemies and making sure that they cannot retreat is amazing. And this debuff stacks. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's 2024, and I still think Honda's good. Is he worth investing in right now? I'm going to say yes once you have 3 or more marches. Once you're running multiple marches and you're really looking for lots of utility and you want to throw Honda anywhere, it's good. Let's talk about a pair that a lot of people might not run, and that's a Honda primary with a YSS secondary. I did run this, and man, let me tell you, for mixed units, I was super surprised. YSS is bringing really good stats. Even his second skill, if you're in Alliance territory, this is really good. If you're deep within Alliance territory, chances are that the enemy is not falling back at all. Like, a lot of times in the open field, the enemy will, like, hit you, run back. Their allies go forward. They come back and hit you. If you're deep in Alliance territory, like, you're in flags, you're, like, getting pushed, a lot of the times they're not falling back. So this skill really pops off. Not to mention, Honda and YSS together, the enemy will not escape you. They will not get away. It is a double march speed reduction, and they will not get away. Honda YSS, I noticed, was really good when you're playing on the defensive. I would not run Honda YSS out in the open field when you're pushing, but if you're defending a pass or you're defending flags, I actually do run Honda YSS, and I think it's a fine pair to run for a mixed unit leadership march. Ethelfled Honda, really strong pair in Canyon. Do not use it in the open field. It's super squishy. If you have, like, cracked out, crazy, full talent crit, like, mixed unit gear, you could probably make Ethel Honda work, and I think it would be nice, especially since Honda's March speed debuff stacks. It stacks, so you're always going to be dealing bonus damage with Ethelfled. But I think Ethelfled Honda is it's too squishy for my liking. Some people with really good mixed unit gear might be able to pull it off. Maybe in the future I'll try it out more. Maybe if Honda gets a relic. The talent build I have for a Honda primary looks exactly like this. Maxed out Feral Nature. 1 point in latent power as Honda is dealing damage over time. If you're running mixed units, you want that extra damage taken reduction. Honda is dealing lots of damage. He's bringing lots of attack, lots of skill damage buff bonus. You don't need more damage. This skill's really good. This skill's really good. You should definitely grab it. So, is Honda good in 2024? I'm gonna say yeah. You can throw him behind any commander. He performs really well. Honda's always gonna have a place in Rise of Kingdoms. I hate to break it to you. I know there's a lot of Honda haters. There's a lot of people that hate on Honda because Honda is kind of a weird commander where, like, if you're just entering Season of Conquest, like, I'll be honest, I probably would not invest into Honda at all. There's just so much better options such as Herman, Liu Che, and, like, there's just so much better options. Once you're looking at multiple marches, I do think Honda is worth investing in. He's always going to have a place in Rise of Kingdoms. Anytime in the future a skill damage commander comes out and you're looking for pairs and you don't really know what's best, you can either pair that new skill damage commander with an already meta commander, or just pair him with Honda. So Honda's always going to have a really good place where you can throw him behind any skill damage commander. He works really well. He's bringing March speed, lots of troop capacity, and his expertise is honestly kind of underrated. I think people really do not realize how tanky the skill is. And I understand it's only 57 times. So if you get swarmed, that his skill kind of runs out. His skill like runs out kind of quick. And that is a factor you have to take into consideration. However, I've noticed with Honda, the best trades I got with Honda are always when I send Honda to fight to the death. That's right. The best trades I've gotten with Honda is when you just send Honda out there and you just let your March die and then come back. And I actually like this style of fighting. I really, really do like this style of fighting. He just deals more damage as he gets closer and closer to 0 units. So you're dealing damage all the way through, which is what's really nice. Now, we're going to talk about one March that was... I think it's a March that I briefly went over in my KVK review, in my last video where I reviewed my KVK, and that was with Honda Primary and Tomyris Secondary. This March has some serious potential, I think, as a city rally, or even as a double rally in some cases. If you're launching a rally, you are not really worried about firing off your rage first. If you're launching a double rally, if as a double rally, you're not really worried about the rage gain. Honda's extra rage gain really does let Tomyris get extra stacks of poison. And not only extra stacks of poison, but Honda's boosting skill damage. It is kind of disgusting when it gets to high stacks. In the open field, you have to micromanage it really well. If you followed my KVK review video, Honda Tommy is a March where I really think Tommy kind of has to be expertised. You can run Tommy at 5-1-1-5 or 5-1-5-5. That's where I'm currently getting Tommy. I run her actually behind her Herman, and I think I'm going to start using it over ZL, I'm going to be honest with you, but that's a video for another time. Honda Tommy has to be micromanaged really well. What I mean by micromanaged really well, I mean you have to watch where your Honda is. You really have to watch where you're sending your Honda. And you have to keep in mind that a lot of people see Honda primaries and they do kind of target him. So you really have to keep your eye on Honda. Honda Tommy is a March where I would send it out, trade 3 times, and then fall back. Like, it's a March you send out to deal high DPS really quickly and then kind of retreat. So that's kind of where it's at with Honda Tommy. Best pairs as Honda Primary, definitely YSS. Honda Primary with Skippy Secondary is also really strong. I actually was going back and forth between Skippy Honda and Honda Skippy. Honda Primary deals lots of damage. You just have to micromanage it well. You really have to keep an eye on Honda and make sure he doesn't get caught out too much and that he's not like completely alone. So best pairs are for Primary Honda YSS mixed units, Honda Skippy. Best pairs secondary I think are Skippy Honda, Nevsky Honda, ZL Honda is okay. ZL is having 0 March speed actually hurts so much. Like, I'm not gonna lie. After the last KVK, I was frustrated. With my ZL having 0 March speed. So I think best pairs for Honda as primary are definitely YSS and Skippy as a secondary. So, quick talent build. I know I showed the talents, but I'm just going to go over it again. This is the talent build I would recommend if you're running Honda as a primary. The reason why I don't have more points in latent power is because, it's buffing his damage over time, but his damage over time is so small that that's not really what you want to focus on. Anyways, so yeah, I think Honda is still good in 2024, and I think he's still worth investing. If you guys like this video, make sure you comment and drop a like. and I will see you in the next one.